everyone, so today I'm going to do a how-to video following on from my last kind of in-depth tutorial on how to get a flawless base, which is what I did today. It's just been uploaded a while ago. I'll link it down below if you want to know how to get flawless foundation, but right now I'm going to do how to contour, bronze, highlight, blush. You get it. So at the moment I've obviously only got my foundation on and then the rest of my makeup. I don't have any other face makeup on. So the first thing I personally like to start with is bronzing, and you can totally do any order you prefer. I just like to start with bronzing. First step, get yourself a good brush. My favorite bronzing brush in the entire freaking world, and one of my most popular selling brushes, because this is from my own range, is the bronzer brush. This is the perfect bronzer brush, and I also use this for powder all over my face sometimes. If you've got a more petite face, go for this. This is the blush brush, and it's just a little bit smaller and a little bit more angled, so either or will do the job. I'm going to use the bronzer brush today. Givenchy. Is that it? I don't know, I don't remember. I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'm not trying to offend anyone, of course. This is called the Healthy Glow Powder in 2. That's what it looks like. This has a slight sheen to it. Now, before I even start, there is a difference between bronzing and contouring, and lots of people don't understand what the difference is, so I'm going to explain it. Bronzing is bronzing up your skin to make you look sun-kissed, you know, adding a basically fake tan to your face with bronzer. Contouring is creating shadows to make your face look slimmer. So they're two different things, and you can use the same product if you want. I do it sometimes, but if you want a really intense contour, I'll show you what to do later. But for now, we're just going to use this just for bronzer. So just dip some product in, tap off the excess. You don't want to put too much on your brush. And then I like to put it over my cheeks, so not necessarily contouring at all. I'm putting it over my cheeks because that's where the sun would naturally hit me. I'm putting it over my temple. I'm putting it around my nose and a little bit on top. Chin, jawline. And you can see already that quick, 20 seconds of applying bronzer completely changed my perfection. What? Complexion. It completely changed my complexion. That is a bit of a tongue twister. Before I was looking very one-tone, very flat, doesn't necessarily look very healthy. Putting on a little bit of bronzer just helps to make your skin look a whole bunch more healthy, sun-kissed, just beautiful. Even if you have super pale porcelain skin, you'll be able to find a bronzer that suits you. You might even want to try a super sheer bronzer, like some of the Maybelline ones. I think they're quite sheer, so they're very, very buildable, so you can like add a little bit at a time and it's not going to look muddy or orange or anything like that. Once I've done that, I like to contour. So as I said, contouring is adding shadows to your face, and what adding shadows to your face does is it slims down your face, brings out your natural features, and really just emphasizes your bone structure and makes it look really beautiful. My current favorite contour powder is in the contour kit. It's this shade in the middle here, which is called Fawn. So it's basically a very almost grayish tone. Lots of people insist on using grey toned contour powders, and that is because a shadow on your face is not red, it's not blue, it's not purple, it's not warm toned, it is a grayish kind of shadow. This colour here on my personal, complexion is about the greyest I can go. It looks so natural and amazing, and I highly recommend this palette. Sometimes I contour with my bronzer, if it's a matte bronzer that is. You want to make sure it's matte, because if it's shimmery it's going to look completely wrong. But sometimes I use a matte bronzer just to contour, and it does the job, but it's not going to look natural, it's not going to look real. If you want it to look natural and real, you want something a little bit more grayish. Okay, so as for brushes for contouring, I have a few different favorites. One is the NARS Eater brush, which is the most expensive. It's basically the perfect shape just to get a really chiseled line, so there is that one. There is the Sigma F05, but I don't really like this. Like, I love how it applies, but it leaves little hairs all over my face. So sometimes I'll use it, but I try not to. But the shape is really good to get in there. The next one is one I'm developing for my own brush line, which is a lot smaller. And this gives you a perfect line that you can then kind of blend out afterwards. And then the other one that I often use is my small tapered face brush by XO Beauty. I'm going to just use this one because it's the last one I talked about. So going in with this colour here, just take a little bit. Don't take too much, you can build it up, but it's really hard to kind of take away product once it's already on your face. So basically you want to contour where your natural hollows are. So some people like to go like this, and it shows you exactly where they are. I like to kind of go sideways, I get a better line, like, ooh, really pretty face. More or less you're going from about where your ear is down to your jawline. So if you kind of like draw an invisible line and press, you'll be able to feel where there's no bone. Well, there is a bone, but it goes in. So you've got your cheekbone up here and then your jawbone down there, and you want to go right in between. So just start to sketch it out. And I recommend going to about the outside of your eye down. You don't want to go in here because it's going to look really, really weird. You just want to kind of stop, you know, maybe a third across. And then just gently run that back and forth. And if I just do it a couple times and show you the difference. One side, other side. So you can see the difference is huge. If you want a super chiseled line, you can take a little card and you can hold it there and then go like this, and it will give you an even straighter line, which will make your cheekbones look really chiseled. But I just kind of, you know, do the everyday little contour. And when you're blending, don't blend down. You want to blend across, and then you want to kind of blend up a little bit. You don't want to just leave it as one straight harsh line because it'll look really, really, really harsh on your face and it won't look natural. For the nose, sometimes I'll just use whatever brush I'm using, but if I want to really contour it, I use my large eyeshadow brush by XO Beauty, which looks like this, and you can use it on its side like that. Just dip it in the product, same colour, and then gently kind of carve out where the arch of your nose is. And this is just going to help, you know, slim your nose. But I normally just kind of add a little bit of colour around my nose, not to contour because my nose is so crooked I can't even contour it properly, but basically because otherwise the centre of my face looks really pale and the outside looks really tan. So it just really helps to bring everything together and make it look a little bit more natural. And then I like to add a little bit more of that contour colour just here on my temple. This will slim down your forehead a little bit. If you've got a bigger forehead, you can contour up here, but mine's not really that big, so I don't like to do that because it kind of shuts my face off. So I like to just add a little bit at the sides just to make my head look a little bit more oval and narrow rather than round, even though I don't really have a round face, but you get what I'm saying. You just want to apply contour powder wherever you want to slim your face. So you can put it there, and you can even put a little bit under your jawbone, jawline, just to help cut off the double chin. And that's how to contour. And you can obviously go hard, you can add way more than I have. This is just like, it's not like natural, but I mean, it's nothing crazy. It's not like a Kim Kardashian kind of contoured look. That's for another video, I guess. And on most days I do use powder. Every now and then I use a cream, but I can do a different cream contour video if you want. This is just what I use on a most day basis, like most of the time if I'm wearing makeup. This is what I do. Next, I would apply my highlighter. And the reason I like to apply my highlighter before my blush, I don't do this every single time. Sometimes I mix it up and do like a different order. But normally I'll do my highlighter first because sometimes highlighter can kind of transfer down a little bit. So putting the blush on afterwards helps to just kind of make it look more seamless rather than having your blush and then putting your highlighter on and it kind of going on top of the blush and making the blush look pointless, if that makes sense. For highlighting, you want a slightly smaller brush. Sometimes I use, again, my small tapered face brush by XO Beauty. It's perfect for that size there. If you're a beginner or if you just like a really precise look, I recommend this brush here, which is my shimmer brush by XO Beauty. It is a thin fan brush. It's not too dense, so it gives you the perfect amount of colour, or amount of shimmer I should say. It doesn't look overboard and it really puts it in the exact spot you want it to go. It doesn't go all over your face, it doesn't go all up here, it doesn't go all down there, it stays right where you need it. I am going to use my Mirror Luminizer, which is a super shimmery powder. I love this colour so much, it's one of my favourites of all time. Basically just dab it in and then kind of apply it right on the top of your cheekbone. So obviously the cheekbone is here, you want to do it on the highest point. So I just kind of flick it back and forth like this. And it's going to hit the very top point of your cheek, so it's going to apply exactly where you want it. And you can see the difference. It just really brings out your cheekbones. So if you're wanting to make your cheekbones come out, you want to highlight them. This brush is just so easy and it doesn't apply too much product. Sometimes if you use quite a dense brush, it can apply like a big stripe and it doesn't look very nice. So you just want to have the kind of less is more approach to highlighting. Some people like to highlight down their nose. I don't really, because I don't have a perfect nose, so it kind of draws attention to it. I like to do it on the top of my Cupid's bow. I even do it just above the beginning of my eyebrow a little bit, just to kind of bring my brows up, and a little bit on my chin. Sometimes whatever's left on my brush I'll kind of like wipe it off and just do the smallest amount just to bring it together, but I really don't like putting too much there. I love the look of really highlighted noses, so if you like that look, go for it. I think it looks beautiful, just not on me. And then now that that's done, you could stop here. Like, you don't even have to add blush if you don't like it. Some days I don't wear blush. I used to be all about the blush life, and now I'm all about the bronze life. But I'm going to show you how I apply my blush as well. I'm going to use this blush here by Makeup Store called Peach, and it's just the perfect kind of, it's like a muted peach colour. So it goes with everything, and since I'm wearing such a bright lip, I don't want to go too bright on the cheeks, so this is perfect. My favourite blush brushes, that is such a tongue twister, is my Precise Blush Brush and my Medium Face Brush by XO Beauty. This one here is like a duo fibre brush, but it's oval as you can see, so it's perfect for that shape you want to get. And then the medium face brush is just a nice, it's like the small tapered face brush except a little bit bigger, and it's just a really great shape as well because it is tapered, so you can kind of like just tap it on. And this one's dirty, so I'm going to use the medium face brush. Just tap a little bit in there. Again, start off slow, don't put too much product on because it's harder to blend it out than just adding more. And then most people go and then put it on, but I feel like that kind of droops my face. For my face shape, and just keep in mind that it may not work for you, it kind of just depends on your face shape and what works. There are so many diagrams online where you can kind of see, you know, where people say you should be putting a blush for each face shape. But since my face is kind of more oval, I like to actually apply it near the backs of my cheeks. I don't put it right here and leave it there. I go back here, so I start from the back and bring it forward, and then by the time I get to the apple of my cheeks, it's just putting the smallest amount of product on there. And by doing this to my face, it helps to sculpt my face shape even more and make it look slimmer. If I just put it here, it really makes my face look like weird. It's up to you what you want to do, because everyone has different preferences. So just play around with it, because that's what makeup is all about. It's having fun. And that is everything. That is how I contour, bronze, blush, highlight my face. This was so highly requested, so I hope it actually helped. I hope I wasn't just speaking gibberish the whole time. It makes a huge difference on my face, so I love doing these steps. To some people it may look like overdone and too much for daytime wear, but I find that if I just wear foundation, it looks way more intense than when I actually do these extra steps, because doing these extra steps just makes me look a lot healthier, and it looks, believe it or not, a little bit more natural because it's adding back those shadows that I would naturally have on my face. When you put foundation all over your skin, you're completely taking all dimension away, so it's just going to look flat. If I'm just doing a quick day-to-day makeup look, like nothing fancy, nothing dramatic, you know, I'm just wanting to put on some makeup and run out the door, I will just do a little bit of bronzer just to add some dimension to my face, and then the rest doesn't really matter. So yeah, I guess that's it. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me out so much. I love you guys so much. I hope you have an amazing day. Leave me a comment down below so I can reply to it, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye! So even if I wasn't going to repurchase it for myself, Hamish would definitely want it again. We both love the plain tea tree oil creamy cleanser, so this kind of goes hand in hand with that. And then the last thing I have here is by Clarity, and I got this off NZ sale, and I'd never heard of it before, but it's called a sea salt solution salt and mud peel in a scrub. So you could call this almost a dupe for a peel, because it gives you the results of a peel but without peeling, without using a peel.